the latest development in the Baba Siddiqui murder case. For the first time, a video of the accused gangster Zishan Akhtar has surfaced. Now, in the video, the gangster is seen openly admitting to the former minister's killing. Akhtar here said that he carried out Siddiqui's murder on the instructions of Lawrence and Anmol Bishnoi, but then claims that the brothers later plotted to slit his throat as well. Now, Akhtar vows retaliation, saying he will finish Lawrence and Anmol Bishnoi. He called the Bishnoi brothers Gaddar, accusing them of betraying him right after using him for the hit. He also alleges that Lawrence and Anmol Bishnoi are aligned with anti-India elements and have links to the Khalistani groups. Now, Zishan Akhtar also says that his dream was to become an IPS officer, but instead he became a gangster. Now, remember, Akhtar fled India shortly after Siddiqui's killing and is believed to have aligned himself with Rohit Godara gang while operating from an undisclosed foreign location. Baba Siddiqui, a former minister and influential political figure in Maharashtra, was shot dead earlier this year.
आप सबसे एक बात सीधी सी करनी चाहता हूँ कि आज दुनिया को पता चल रहा है कि देश के सबसे बड़े गद्दार कौन है। वो है अनमोल और लॉरेंस, ठीक है ना। इस से बाबा सिद्दीक की मरवाने के बाद और छोड़ दिया एक जगह पे, और मुझे मेरा गला कटवाने के चक्कर में इसको ये नहीं पता था कि बाद में ये
And now tensions erupted at Bangalore University's campus after the administration restricted Constitution Day celebrations. Now the university reportedly allowed events to proceed with participation from only 2 departments. This sparked anger among student groups. Postgraduate and research scholars allege that this was an authoritarian move taken unilaterally without consulting students or their unions. In protest, student unions staged a demonstration in front of the university administration office. They raised slogans against the vice-chancellor and the registrar, accusing them of undermining democratic values and limiting student participation. Now, the protesters also demanded the full Constitution Day program to be reinstated and called for greater student engagement in decision-making for such events. And now there is reportedly a push for a leadership change in Karnataka. Now, a late-night meeting in New Delhi between a Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and several other Karnataka Congress leaders, which are loyal to Deputy CM D.K. Shivkumar, has now intensified the ongoing speculation about a possible shift that could come in the state's leadership. Now, rejecting claims that his supporters were in fact pressurizing the High Command to make him the next Chief Minister, D.K. Shivkumar said that making a group is not in my blood. All 140 MLAs are my MLAs. Now, viewers, the Siddaramaiah government is approaching the 2.5-year mark and the Chief Minister has decided to reshuffle his cabinet. DK has added that because of this, all of them are now interested in becoming ministers. Meanwhile, CM Siddaramaiah reiterated that he will remain in office and will present budgets myself, questioning why the media continues to speculate about a change in leadership.
What would have been an easy, case to solve for the Congress High Command has become a tightrope walk post the Bihar debacle. That is obvious, and that's what we are seeing here now. Because whether there was a pact between D.K. Shivkumar or Siddaramaiah before the High Command in 2023, 30 months ago, is anybody's guess. And we do have enough journalistic experience to say that there was one, though there was no publicly announced pact, because such pacts are not publicly announced. Number one. Number two, what is happening is, apart from Siddaramaiah, nobody is saying that Siddaramaiah is going to be here for 5 months in the Senate. I'm talking about between Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivkumar. D.K. Shivkumar is saying that yes, if the High Command wishes, Siddaramaiah shall continue for 5 years. And he's not even making these public statements that I demand my share of power and all. Publicly, he is maintaining a very well-curated image of a party loyalist, whereas Siddaramaiah continues to flex his muscles in terms of numbers of MLAs with him and in terms of his achievements, in terms of his agenda politics. He continues to flex his muscle and he continues to say that, yes, I shall remain for 5 years. That gives away the plot very easily. That Siddaramaiah, somewhere down the line, he is trying to challenge the party high command, take action, and face the consequences. Whereas DK Shivakumar is telling everybody and to the party high command also, I shall follow what the party high command says. If they say that Siddaramaiah is for 5 years, no doubt about it. We'll all work under him. That's what is his official line. Whereas supporters are lobbying. His supporters are lobbying in Delhi, and his supporters are saying in Bangalore also. And this evening, what happens at Karge residence, we are all curious to see.
And now on to national capital. Air quality in Delhi NCR continues to worsen. Several parts of the city recorded readings ranging from very poor to severe this morning. Now air quality readings across the region look something like this. Narela stands at 401 AQI, Mundka and Rohini at 415, Anand Vihar stands at 422. All of them are in severe category. While other areas such as Chandni Chowk, it stands at 359 AQI, ITO at 370, Parpadganj at 389, and all of these areas are in very poor category. So that's the range we are looking at, very poor to severe this morning. Now talking about the NCR region at large, Faridabad sector 30 also recorded AQI of 218 in the poor category. Meanwhile, Ghaziabad stood at 399, which is very poor category. Now in response to these alarming levels that we are seeing across the region, the Commission for Air Quality Management has now enforced a stage 3 restrictions under the Graded Response Action Plan across the NCR. Now this curbs construction, vehicular movement as well as industrial operations in an effort to contain the rising pollution in these areas. Moreover, water sprinklers can also be seen on the roads to limit the toxic air pollutants and maintain air quality. But of course, on the ground, the situation at this point is looking grim. And now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Johannesburg, South Africa to attend the G20 summit. Now for Prime Minister, it was a packed day with diplomacy, diaspora connect and big technology conversations. Prime Minister Modi first held talks with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, reviewing 5 years of the India-Australia strategic partnership with a focus on defence, nuclear energy, trade, education and cultural ties. Now, on arrival, the Prime Minister was greeted with the folk performances from 11 Indian states, a cultural show titled Rhythms of a United India, which he in fact described as a remarkable display of India's diversity. Now, the highlight was a rendition of the South African Girmitya song Ganga Maiya, including a special Tamil version as well, reflecting the enduring cultural ties between India and its diaspora. Now, Prime Minister Modi warmly interacted with the members of the Indian community who expressed joy and excitement at meeting him. The Prime Minister, in fact, described the experience as moving, praising the diaspora for keeping India alive in their hearts through songs, prayers and cultural performances. Now, in his social media post, Prime Minister Modi also said that he looks forward to productive discussions at the summit with a focus on strengthening cooperation, advancing development, as well as ensuring a better future for all. Now, he also emphasized India's vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which translates to one earth, one family, one future. Now, the Prime Minister also met Indian origin tech entrepreneurs driving innovation in several. And now some sports news. India take on South Africa in the decisive second test in Guwahati with a series on the line. Now the hosts are trailing 0-1 in this two-match series after losing the first test in Kolkata within 3 days. Now they head into the second match without their regular captain. Shubman Gill, who was forced out of the Kolkata test with a neck injury. Rishabh Pant now steps in as the stand-in skipper. Sai Sudarshan is also expected to come in for Gill, offering some left-handed stability at the top of the order. Meanwhile, Ruturaj Gaikwad is also another option for the team. South Africa, fresh from a historic first test win at Eden Gardens, will now look to maintain their momentum. Their bowlers and the pacer spinners had troubled the home team at Eden Gardens, and they will, however, be without a seasoned pacer Kagiso Rabada. While India will need to regroup strongly if they want to level the series, South Africa will aim to seal it and secure a historic away win. So with Guwahati set to host its first ever men's test match, the stage is now set for a high-stakes pressure cooker contest.